blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am hoping today that the sound is going to be all right. The lighting is looking a little off today, but sincerely, greetings and blessings to all who may gather today, whether live or later. Thank you for joining in. May our time together result in greater joy, greater faith. Carry on. For these are great, man. Thank you, El Perro, already. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea. I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Man, God is our refuge and strength. Very present help in trouble. But in our troubles, we lose sight of God's presence often. We as in me. But I know there's many like me where we lose sight of the answers. We lose sight of love. We lose sight of a lot of good things. Because the reality is, one of the most prevalent belief systems globally is government, and the only reason people make the excuse to believe in government is because it secures their bank account and their paycheck. It's all a bunch of lies held together by this banking scheme. It's fucking brilliant. The way it's all come together, man. And this is beautiful. USA, you get it. The Most High is not a person or a thing. It is a frequency. It is the highest thought, the highest vibration, the highest energy, the highest power. It's beyond us. Oh, I checked in with you this morning, brother. Mike Ball with Insane Wheels. I checked in and the news, man, holy cows, man, the news is the news. Holy cows, what is going on in this world? It's time for more peace, love, and Jack. So here we go. Let's get this going today, right? I got a lot of ideas, a lot of things I want to share. I got so much hope. I really am. Some days I'm just like this little boy. I'm just like this little kid that wants to play and have fun. And so if you can join with that and accept this little boy of me that wants to play and have fun in this lifetime of today, we can have some fun. Because really in the background, it's all about peace and love, baby. Peace and love is Chats with Jack. That's really what it's hoping to be. A little bit of peace and love bombs, and it's true. Thank you for that. No one does jack shit like Jack. And peace and blessings to you, Chuck. I'm glad to see you too, brother. I'm trusting and praying things are good for you. So the thumbnail today, it is a prayer for me. And this idea of, as I follow the path of love, as I follow the path of love that the Father reveals for me, I ask that the Spirit of Jesus be with me to comfort me and walk with me. Now, what I've done for myself, and I encourage you to consider this possibility is true for you too. See how it feels. What if God's love is revealed as truth? See, I follow the path of truth that I can find, and I do so with love in mind and in my heart. And it's brought me to where I am. But what I realized and what I got in the description, it's true for me, it's true for you, it's true for all of us. Your relationship with God's love is yours to grow or ignore. You actually get a lot of power in your life, that power of choice, the opportunity to decide what is for you, what is not for you. Now, you only get to choose from what's been shown to you, right? It's just a perfect dance. What God is so beyond us, guys. I mean, seriously. All this fighting over religions and definitions and borders and oh my God, what is humanity doing, man? Praise God. What I found for myself is, and I encourage you, you can invite yourself to follow God's love with faith at your side. And that gets us into the live stream title today. How do you find faith at your side? Well, you find a rest in your, we all get to share life, at least this time of life on earth. It's ours to do with what we choose, but I don't think a lot of people realize what they're choosing instead of what they could be choosing, right? I think people have lost sight of a lot of goodness in the world of today. But this thought and this prayer in the thumbnail, right? It is true. I was considering this earlier today. The practice of surrendering me, my worries, my battles, my problems, my pains, right? If I surrender me away, the things that the world has given to me that I don't want to be a part of, well, then that opens space for God to come in, man. Once you get God inside of you, there's like Holy Spirit of goodness and comfort, and you recognize it and you appreciate it, and you're like, oh, thank you, welcome back. Oh, welcome back to the bliss of my being with you. Have you found your bliss of being that's with you? There's depths to the practice. I mean, I heard this from a yogi a long time ago that in his experience, he was able to close his eyes, and there was just this overtaking of bliss and divine goodness. And I didn't understand that until I did. And I tell you what, man, God's goodness, God's glory, God's creativity, God's mysteriousness, man, that really is something to, oh, I'm freezing up, huh? I'm freezing up. Yeah. Yeah, dude, bliss is good. It's a sign of goodness, especially if you find it, right? If God's grace allows you to discover it, then it's something that you really want to share with others. And I know it can be explained and pointed out in a lot of ways, but something I was thinking of, it really is the path to feel God's goodness, get out of your whatever that prevents you from feeling God's goodness, okay? Whether it's unworriness or fear or, oh, I can't do that. Yeah, you can. You can try. You can try to be with God's goodness. All you got to do, it's not that hard. I mean, it can be hard, but once you know how to do something, nothing is hard, okay? Nothing is in the regard of being a human being of clear conscience and good sound mind, it's not that difficult to do. It's actually more difficult to stay in denial. It's more difficult to stay stupid. And I think that's what God is teaching us in the bigger picture. In the bigger picture of humanity, right? I mentioned I study people, right? I study humanity, and that includes me. I'm my closest specimen that I watch. And I thank you all for watching me too. Where was I going? Oh, the study I observed, I recognize this pattern in humanity, and it's so obvious and beautiful. And it's kind of hilarious, I can imagine, from the heavenly perspective. But from the worldly perspective, it really sucks. But it seems that through patterns of time, what has happened in humanity is the fools become wise, and the wise are shown as fools. Okay? Now, we got a lot of people walking around that thinking they're pretty smart, pretty wise, right? But they're actually really, in the bigger picture, they're showing themselves to be fools, thinking that they can cause harm to others and get away with it. That's not a sound mind or judgment, guys. Okay, so through patterns of time, fools become wise. I was a fool. I own it, baby. I was a fool. I played the dancing monkey. I played the clown. I did it all, man. I didn't do it all, but I did all that I did. And I actually feel through my stubbornness and my defiance and my honesty, truly my honesty, I think God allowed me to learn a little bit of wisdom, man. And the wisest thing it is to be honest, to be perfectly honest so that you can be authentic. And when you're authentic, then you have no problem recognizing, oh, wow, God is with me. God is with me, for sure. And I was trying to think about how do I bring this together. And in the live stream title, slowing down to regain your trust, to regain trust, to restore trust. Right? The best way to have trust in your heart is to have peace in your mind without a battle, right? No conflict, no worries. And the best way to resolve a conflict, it's usually surrendering to the answer that works. It's as simple as that. And if you don't know the answer that works, well, that's where your work begins. You got to find the answer by seeking the answer that works to resolve the battles. And then if you're just dealing with some fear or resentment, just dealing with some fear, just dealing with some resentment. Everything, man, everything can be minimized and everything can be exaggerated, okay? It's all just in moments of time, and it's all based on a perspective of an experience. And I'm sitting here comfortably speaking, feeling very good in my heart, in my mind, because I've spent a lot of time today in peace. Thoughts on God. And what I was observing and recognizing in my peace, what I was doing is I was actually sitting in stillness. See, in stillness, you're out of time, right? Time is, but you're not. You're just in stillness. And I was listening to a lecture earlier today on the levels of consciousness and the different traditions that have been explaining them. And really, I guess what what makes the most sense to me of what it is, the goal that I found, is the recognition, right? In your dream state, your not dream state, in your deep sleep state, right? When you're deep and sound asleep, right? Your body doesn't exist to you. The world doesn't exist to you, but there's still a you, right? That's still, and it's peaceful and it's whole and it's not doing anything. It's just there, right? And then in your dream state, right, you don't have the body, but you've got the awareness of the experience. And in your daytime, you've got it all. But the goal is to be as the deep dream state of stillness and peace in your being as you have the conscious awake state. It's bringing the things together so that you're just here, right? You're just present. And when you're just here and you're just present, you're with thoughts on God, and you know that God's love is for those who return with love, right? That's how love works. Imagine how much God might love those who really, really just celebrate God and celebrate life. I can imagine God loves those folks, right? So why not join in that club? Just be with love. It's a little bit selfish. It is a little bit selfish to be with love all the time and to have no hate in your heart and no lust in your mind. It's pretty selfish, you know. But if you're being selfish for good reasons, I say go for it. Go for it. But you got to make sure your reasons are pure. And my reasons are the reasons I take care of me, and I could do better. I know I could do better taking care of me. The reason I continue to improve me is because I live for you, whoever you are, right? In this world. I live for this world to become a better place. And I know my gifts and I know my downfalls, but right now, this is where I am. So I click go live, and I hope to help you find a little bit of encouragement and a little spark in your own life, right? Inviting in that spirit of joy, the spirit of comfort, the spirit of love to wrap its arms around you. And you can feel it if you and God allow you. See, it's God's grace is found in the stillness of being while not being, just being with nothing and everything, and knowing that it's okay. And it's not just okay, it's all right. It's not just all right, it might be pretty good. And it might be getting better. And if it gets better, it might be pretty amazing. And if it gets amazing, holy cows, man, the future might be absolutely incredible. Whoops, here, this, my dear, yeah. This is the key. Truth, be your God. But to truly approach God, the truth, one must be with love. For the truth taken in the wrong way or for the wrong way can be dangerous. Creates divisions in relationships, conflicts within. I got some thoughts and I got always some things to say, but you know what? Part of this is experimental in many ways. So I'm hoping that the sound quality came through while I was on my own. I am prayerful that the echo that my mic was doing in the past has been resolved. But if folks wish to join, you are welcome to do so. And we'll figure out where my where my audio is today. What was this? As you read and comment, but think people. Always a but in there somewhere. Read a comment and say, but think how listen to how he speaks. Yeah. If I ruled the world, USA says, every day would be the first day of spring. Every heart would have a new song to sing. I remember that song from grade school. Oh, I found a children's playground not far from here, and it was beautifully decorated. These little castles for the kids to play in, and there are these things painted on them. And there was a little message. I've got the photos somewhere, I'm sure. The message was something about race, so there'd be no no divisions. But you know what? Golly geez, guys. The God I've come to know, I trust it is the one, the Father that Jesus spoke of. And many others have as well. God has sent to the world many prophets, many messengers, many philosophers. God has sent many poets, musicians, bakers, gardeners. Whoops. God has sent people in so many different ways. I didn't know where I fit in. I still really don't. I really don't. I was trying to figure it out. I know it helps people get more comfortable once you can give a clear definition to things. So, who is Jack Talcott? Well, I am an activist. That's number one, for sure. I don't know exactly how that fits in, but and by my heart I am. So is that right? I don't know. And then I thought, maybe I'm a philosopher. And typically, philosophers, as I understand, they don't typically do real well economically. Just anyway, others do. Anyway, so a philosopher. I am a man who truly, truly loves wisdom. Oh, baby. It's oh yeah, it's a beautiful relationship. One that I was grateful to get reminded of previously. Holy cows. Hey, yeah, nobody really fits in. But this, let truth be guided by love, love grounded in truth, where both meet, harmony begins. And that's the thing. And when we meet in truth and love, we do fit in. We don't have to pretend in these characters. Hey, I'm going to bring you up, Stephen, and hopefully, please be patient. Hopefully, we won't have too much audio issues. How you doing today?
Hello, hello. How's my audio?
You sound good on this end, but are you echoing back
Hello.
from my end?
No, it sounds good. I fixed it. I think I fixed it. Excellent, excellent. What a glorious day today is, brothers and sisters. I'm having a good day so far. That's all I can say. It's thankful for having a good day, and I hope everyone here is as well.
Gratitude is a great way to spend a day. That is for sure. And I think many of us can agree, wherever we are. It is a beautiful day in many ways. And I am so grateful. I've got solutions prepared, but I was hopeful that things were taken care of. So it is a beautiful day, man. You mentioned some gratitude. And hey, and it is. I'm claiming the day, man. Why not? It rhymes. Talcott Tuesday, baby. Um, where we get to talk about me. With me. We get to talk with me again. So anything exciting with you, Steven? Any breakthroughs for you?
I'm working on gratitude. I'm working on waking up every day and saying I'm grateful. That's a step in the right direction. I'm working on realizing I'm not perfect and I can't win a marathon in just a couple steps. I have to take it one step at a time. It might take tens of thousands of steps, but it's a journey.
It's good to have clarity on where we're going. That's important. And it's easy to be honest and say many times we don't know what direction we're going in. We think we've got an idea, but a lot of times, man, I know I was just pretending to know what I was doing. I was making it up a lot.
Yeah, I thought I know what you mean. I thought I was running towards the finish line. I was going towards the marina. I was going the wrong direction, and I ended up on the
Yeah,
dock by somebody's boat. And it was such a crazy trip that only the mind of someone like Duck could probably understand what I was talking about.
yeah.
Sometimes he kind of goes in different directions. He's likable though. He's a likable character.
There's many likable characters. That's what I realized. God really is pretty creative in the creation. And it's easy to put ourselves above the creation, but we're not. We're a part of it. Everyone's a part of everyone. You
Yeah.
mentioned, what was it? I'm sorry, you said something I wanted to reply to. What was it you were saying? Before Duck. You brought Duck up for a reason, though. It was related to
Oh,
something you're describing.
yeah. I'm taking steps, realizing it takes thousands of steps
Oh,
to go to the finish line, and it's not just one step.
it was after that. It was about going the wrong direction.
Oh yeah, I ended up at the marina. Yeah,
Well, I heard this pointed out at one of the seminars I was at, and it's so obvious and true, right? We've got a rat race. And a lot of people, they do very well climbing up the rungs of success on some ladder or another. But a lot of people, they'll spend 20 years climbing a ladder in one direction to realize, ooh, it's the wrong ladder, wrong way for me. So we
yeah.
got to look,
Well, some people do that after 40 years in corporate.
right?
They're climbing the corporate ladder, and they realize after 40 years, I'm not where I wanted to be in life. They went the wrong way. They
Right.
they
Well, this
focused
is
on the wrong
actually
bit.
when I was part of my development as a coach, and just logical business sense. You try to imagine who's your ideal client, what's the focus group you want to reach. And that was part of it. I wanted to reach these people that have achieved some level of comfort and success, so they were capable of things, but they weren't happy. And so I know I could help people find greater happiness for sure, man.
I hope so. There's a lot of unhappy people in the world, even here
Hmm.
in the chat, and there's a lot of people that just they tend to focus on anger and misery and bitterness and that kind of stuff. If they focus more on happiness and gratitude, it's a step in the right direction to wake up each day and just say I'm grateful to be here. It's a start. It's not the finish line, but it's a start. It's something.
And I think an honest commitment to be at peace as much as possible, right? So no harms, no conflicts, just to be at peace. I got that from the peace walk Buddhists. It's a great affirmation that I have been practicing more. But that gratitude, Stephen, I'm not overlooking that. That really is the key. And these words from Melissa again: let truth cleanse the heart. Let love fill it, and let your life become a living testimony to both. That's beautiful. That is what we're here to be. But we've got to allow the true answers to cleanse us of what's not real.
What
We
did
got
what
to,
did she say? Alyssa?
yeah,
What was it about truth? Let truth cleanse the heart. Okay, let love fill it. There
yeah,
was a song by Lenny Kravitz that said "Let love rule," and that's what it reminds me of. Those lyrics, or the what she wrote, it reminds me of that song.
yeah. I think that's something.
That was one of his
Sorry.
smash hit songs. That was decades ago, but it was a big song.
Um, well, this actually is part of my personal testimony and experience. I didn't see it, but I had been in denial about the good qualities of me in a lot of ways. And it wasn't until that my sponsor in our conversation kind of helped push past that blind spot. And it was truth. I called it God, but it was the truth that cleansed my heart, and it brought these emotions up, and love filled me, and just tears and shit. Big emotional release. Um, the truth is a power, and you align that with love, baby. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Let's do that here in this world, because love has been lost in this corporate rat race where everyone's enslaved to debts and punishment and revenge and competition and religion and opinions. Let's change this world, guys.
It's time for a change, I think.
It
It's time for
is.
some real change, not the change that you hand out to people that are sitting outside of a 7-Eleven or something, but real change. And at least one thing I can say is not I would say most of the audience here doesn't seem to be wrapped up in the corporate world because they're here every day. So I don't know if they're unemployed, but they're not wrapped up in corporate offices. They're not part of the rat race is what I'm getting at that we were talking about. That some people that's a trap that people fall into working in the corporate rat races.
Well, it's the path that we're on, and we're all in this together because it takes those folks in the corporate rat race to make sure that our water is on and everything's running smoothly for us. So this is the thing where this money system has got us broken. And this is actually what I want to bring before the US Congress. It's time to choose truth over comfort. These identities of Republican and Democrat, they're bullshit excuses to stay incompetent. And we'll help share some love, right? To reduce the hatred in this nation and in the world. I'm talking as an American, of course. But let's unite
Yeah.
with truth. This is what my message is too for the people who believe in God, right? I say it's time. I don't know what God's got planned, but let's do what we can, and let's move with faith, uniting together to stand on the truth. There's so much evidence of corruption, so much evidence of evil. I was just speaking to a telemarketer today about this.
What? A telemarketer. You had a chat with someone?
Yeah, he's not a telemarketer. They're a web and technology company out of India, cold calling people, and so we talked about we talked about a lot of things. And so, hey, Christopher, if you find your way to this, hey, God bless you, brother. I'm glad you're here. Um, oh, but this really is our lifetime to do something, to do whatever we want. I've called telemarketers back, dude. Hell yeah, I don't get to talk to many people, so if my phone rings, I don't want to miss out.
Oh,
Oh my.
what if Trump cold called you on the phone? Would you be surprised? How would you answer? Like, would you think it was someone from here doing a voice impression, or would you know
Yeah,
if it was the actual Trump?
no, I would be very skeptical. However, um, it's
What
it's
would
a
you ask
time
him? Like, would you have questions on your mind that you think you could just rattle off
to
to say
who?
to him, to Trump, if it was the real one, if you could
Yeah,
verify it, yeah, if you
that
could verify it.
would be pretty easy to be. It would really be. I would trust in my spirit, right, at that moment. But I could imagine myself very easily asking him a few foundational questions. Does he consider himself an honest man or a good man? Um, does he want to do what he said he was going to do? Or is he
Mhm.
going to keep making excuses to not do what he said he was going to do?
Well, this is interesting. How would you handle it then if Trump was arrogant and said, "I'm not only a good man, Jack Talcott, I'm the greatest American." If he said he's the greatest or something.
Well, then we would discuss his failures, failure to honor his words. He claimed he was going to bring peace. He brought war. He claimed he was going to reduce prices. They've been raised. He claimed he was going to expose the deep state. It looks like he jumped right in bed. He, I'm pretty sure he might have even said something about exposing the Epstein files at one point, but he said a lot of things, and I could be wrong about that one.
I kind
But
of remember that, though. I do. You would hold his feet to the fire essentially on all this stuff.
I think someone should.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not disagreeing. Uh, why hasn't anyone at this point?
That's what I want to ask the men and women of Congress. Why are they all just sitting on their hands and pointing at each other like none of them can do anything? This is bullshit. They're all guilty. Every single one of the men and women in Congress right now is guilty of enabling and funding a genocide, modern day times.
Do you think they might just be traitors where they don't care about America or people or the ones that America supports genocide and are at war with? Like, do you think these beings actually can be moral? Is it possible that they just can't be?
Given the right leadership, absolutely. People can reform easily. I know that. And I understand how to help it to happen. There's a lot of ways to make it happen, but the greatest problem is what we have here is a failure in leadership from the White House to the Congress, the executive, legislative, and judicial branches are all collectively failing the United States people. And the failing of the people to correct these problems is actually causing more problems for people all around the world. So I actually think it's really time. God's showing the signs. This is just my interpretation, what I think we should do. I think that America should protect the rest of the world from America, right? That includes our government and corporations and billionaires, right? What's the Kushners and Ivanka buying up fucking Albania's island? What is going on between these?
I don't know what's going on with that, but I remember Trump talking about Mexicans and treating the ones coming across the border as though they were basically gangs and murderers and rapists. Would you ask him about that stuff? If you had a chance on the phone, would you say Donald would what why do you hate Mexicans? Do you hate Mexicans, Don? Do you hate gay people? Would you ask him about the Mexicans and the gays?
No, because the fact that he hates, the target of hate is irrelevant. You got to get back to why does someone choose to hate? So, what Donald Trump has is what a lot of other common Americans have. He's got unresolved mommy and daddy issues. He's got trauma that he has been enabled to get away with. And Dr. D had here's something we got to be, in order to be honest and truthful, we've got to be accurate with our words. Okay. And each of these are open to different interpretations, right? Who's the traitor? Someone who simply lies, someone who breaks an agreement, someone who does what? I mean, traitors aren't dealt with by reform. Well, I'm pretty sure that what God wants mankind to realize is the goal. The goal of being human is to bring the darkness into the light, not just follow the darkness, shining a light on it. Oh, you're so powerful and we can't do anything to stop you. Bullshit. We're here to we're here to overcome, baby, because that's what God's about. God is about life, and life is about overcoming.
We Shall Overcome is the song. Remember that one, the protest song? Or no, that was actually the Negro slave song. We shall overcome. Martin Luther King Jr. sang that. Are Trump's parents still alive or are they deceased? You said he has mommy and daddy issues. Did his parents die?
Oh,
I was just curious. I just wondered if you'd stand up for gay people because there's gays in the chat, some of them that think that Trump is hateful towards gays. I've seen comments. They don't like Trump because of his stance towards the LGBT.
what are you doing?
I'm wondering where you stand on this stuff.
But why? What's the
Well,
relevance?
of course it's relevant. You're going to have a conversation with Trump. So these are some of the issues that you should be tackling or at
You
least
think
concerned.
so? You don't think we should try to spend any time talking about how to get there? You
Of
just think
course.
you
I
should,
never said that.
I should just entertain questions you
No, I never
imagine
said that. No.
asking?
No, I
Well,
never said
I'm trying
that.
to understand. That's why I'm
Well, you're
asking.
telling me what I think though. You're saying you think I'm just trying to figure out where you have disagreements with Trump and what you would discuss if you had the chance. Are you pro or anti-gay? Do you support the gays in the chat or do you align with Donald Trump? It's not a trick
Stephen,
question, Jack. It's a simple question. It's not a
I
trick question.
know, and I'm really sitting here trying to understand why you think it's important for me to waste our time with. Again, opinions. You're
These are valid
asking,
issues. I'm asking
no,
you for your stance,
Stephen,
Jack. Your
Stephen.
political stance. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why is that difficult? This is
no.
puzzling.
Well, the confusion is yours, right? You're the
I'm
one
not
who's
confused.
asking questions without
Um,
any real reasonable value I can find. I mean, because you think it's somehow important, his
this is
opinion on
valuable. This is very
gay.
valuable. Well, the gays want to know,
I
Jack. They want
can't,
to know if they have.
Stephen, please read the moment, okay? I'm being as
Okay.
polite. I've been very patient, forgiving. I'm being a good host. All
You're
right.
trying. You're doing a little bit better.
I'm not having any fun with you.
Well, this about fun or truth seeking? What's your goal here? Have
Well,
just a
see,
fun
I
show?
find truth seeking to be fun, but entertaining your delusions is really fucking boring, Stephen. Golly, jeez, man. I give you so much room, so much rope, right? Okay, now here we go. Here we go. Those people that want to bet that you can't change someone's mind, they can't change, they can't reform. Well, Stephen, where do you stand? You want to prove the people against me right? You want to keep wasting my time? Actually, at this point, I don't really care what you want, Stephen. So uh, I'm gonna be done with you today. God bless you, brother. I swear, Jar. I know. I keep saying I'm gonna get better. I keep saying I'm gonna get better. I know. If you are good and kind, you can be in God's kingdom, and I actually do believe that's what it is. Um, it's the good and kind. It's that's how to be, right? Genuinely good, genuinely kind, no ulterior motives. And that way, if you walk as a good person, someone who's trustworthy, you're not going to be so surprised, right? To find other good and honest, trustworthy people. There's a lot of us out there, right? So don't think you're alone if you're trying to be honest in a world filled with liars. There are a lot of us. I'll check for that. Thank you, Sophia. I appreciate that. We all have our limits, and I won't. It, the efforts, in my opinion, appear quite fake, but I know that's what the ego does. The identity, the protective personality, the character who people think we are, right? It tries hard and it pretends, and it it wears out. It wears out. I mean, thank you. And I know you guys get it. Thank you for all of you. For those who are tuning in or just listening, I am kind of communicating with the chat. So, where was I going? Slowing down. Something perhaps I could have had I reminded myself of earlier. Perhaps that could have been a path for me to try. Slowing down. When we slow ourselves down, we kind of detach from the tension a little bit. The tension's still there, the urge to fight might still be there. But if we can slow ourselves down, especially when we're alone working ourselves up, slow down. And I mentioned it before, it's a grace that God has offered to all of us to surrender into the stillness and to be with the beingness. Just have the awareness of being, but without the opinions of being or the feelings, right? You can feel what you feel, but once you tap into the good feelings and naturally, right? No drugs, just being and thoughts and feelings and maybe some breath. Life is considerably different. I was thinking about that earlier today. Brothers and sisters, my testimony is what it is. I've been trying to better understand God. And the signs were so obvious once I started to see. But that gives me more deference, I guess. I lower myself, raise God up even more, that it does things so mysteriously. Sometimes in life we learn to love those that need it the most because they are so wounded and broken. Love will heal them, but love isn't always fuzzy and cozy. Love is powerful. Love is honest. Without honesty, it is not real love. It's pretend. Okay? Honesty is the only way to show yourself love. You've got to be honest about what is and is not right for you. Not good or bad. What is not right for you is not right for you. Just put yourself on that path. It's seeking God's righteousness. That is the path. Seek God's righteousness and the kingdom of heaven. All else shall be provided. God's righteousness and God's kingdom. I mess the words up sometimes. I'm getting better at it, but hey, here is a much more welcomed mind and guest, and I'm prayerful the microphone and the audio still works out. Welcome back, Machine Lives. How are you, brother?
Yeah, blessings, Jack. How you doing today?
I'm feeling blessed. Are you getting a feedback? You getting an echo when you speak from me?
I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. See, I'm on a laptop, so these people are calling, most likely with their phone, and I think that's causing the situation.
There's something fascinating. StreamYard. Anyway, I'm back in business, it seems, and I'm so grateful. How you been, brother? I saw a post from you, and, and I sensed some honest frustration. And
Absolutely.
I
Yeah, huge frustration going on with me. Actually, I vented my frustration on an entire panel this morning over at Cages, and then I got called scared to call people out and stuff. So then I called them on the phone, and because they said I was too afraid to call them on the phone, they said they'll turn me into the next Jack Talcott. So, so this is what they said. They said they'll review me every day and they'll treat me like they'll show up in my chat and they'll turn me into a spectacle and and I said I dare you to do it. I dare you to. Right. So it is what it is.
I'm sorry, and I'm also glad for you. Get it off the chest. I recognized my guilt in what you said.
I don't think it was.
I'm
I'm
part of
actually.
it.
I don't think it was specifically directed at you,
No,
or
I
anyone
didn't.
else in the space. Yeah, yeah. It was kind of like a just a. It was directed towards a few people. I think they know who they are. And I think one of them was just here.
Well, I'm glad you're here, brother. And seeing that was, as I mentioned, a reminder of my guilt. I'm long overdue. It's been a while since I've made it over, popped in. This is something I've been reviewing about myself recently. The power of attraction and the power of mind and prayer and all this. There's a lot of subtleties in the different focus. And I know that surrender has been the path for me. I've had to give up in a lot of different directions. And so the thought came to me recently, brother, and I think it's for a lot of us. It might be time to find a new life where I am, a new way of living my life. That's the way to really get some change, right? While we're here, is just living a little different.
Yeah, I've been thinking the same thing, and I think the most important thing is to die before you die. As they say, this idea of how there's two sort of baptisms, right? You're obviously born right through the womb, right, and but you're also experience the baptism by fire, right, and so on and so forth. And that's the sort of I mean, of the baptism by water represents your birth, right? I mean, so on and so forth. Your your family, your situation, as they say, fortune, as they say, right? In terms of Machiavelli, but in terms of the other side of the coin, right, which is the spirit or the fire, right? That represents the blood, right? As I say, blood is thicker than water. It's about what connections we make in our own life, right? And not what is part of what nature gives to us, right, through the first baptism.
I got to experience that. The obvious is it's obvious when you hear it, when you see it, right? Uh, when you lose everything, you're free to do anything. And I did. I lost everything and everyone that I was attached to. And that was my rebirth. My rebirth happened before that, but I kept clinging to the old past. But we are here to be born into, it seems the pattern is we are born and we become what the world around us wants to be, until a point in our life where we decide, no, that's not for me. And then we find ourselves a different way. Does that sound right?
Absolutely.
Becoming, yeah. Becoming what the world around me wanted me to be. Or it wasn't even that. I became my interpretation of what I thought the world around me wanted me to be. I didn't have clarity. None of us have clarity. Man, we live in a world of confusion and deception, and the liars have been winning, guys. We need to change it. It's time to change it up, my brother.
Yeah, and I think yeah, go ahead, please, Jack.
No, I was inviting you, please.
Yeah, this idea that you have posted up, although I haven't seen much of the show because I was actually trying to sleep, and I have actually not slept for 24 hours. And so I just got like maybe an hour of sleep just recently here. I think part of it was during the opening of your show. But so I missed the opening, but the slowing down to regain trust, right? I think there's a huge problem with speed in our world, right? And I think that people say things they don't mean, right? They're quick to make connections, right? There's this sort of bohemian attitude, right? Where the Bohemians had this attitude where one could meet someone in the same day and sort of pretend they've known them their whole life, right? So this sort of rugged attitude of the American life and this sort of fleeting personality, it sort of entrapped us. And obviously, the speed and pace of society is pretty toxic, right? And I think that is one of the factors that I'd like to address with the the human scale versus the machine scale of technology, because we are sped up in our cities, in our factories, and they move at a pace that is kind of inhuman, and they move way too quick to make decisions, right? So this is the thing, is that our ability to plan things out, right, to evaluate the factors of our lives, right, to have a local community and correspond with them, and so on and so forth. I think these things have been uniquely disturbed by, and I consider this one of the values of the technological system, right? Speed, efficiency, control, utility. These are not inherently human values, right? But they're sort of values of the machine, right? That sort of impinges upon our conscience and then causes us to be inhuman, right? Causes us to act inhuman towards our brothers and sisters.
Yeah. The spiritual battle conducted in the mind. People have been trapped in the mechanical functions of life and society, and it's so brother, the layers and the depths of misinformation, it is so friggin' brilliant, man. Because where I'm going with this, I guess, to try and paint a picture, is society is trapped in the past. They're trapped in their minds, right? and in the mind is the limits of logic and reasoning. But a confused mind does not apply logic and reasoning very logically, and that's why we have such a backward society. Because the brainwashing has been very good at creating billionaires, right? And ownership. Holy cows, man. Hey, we got another guest here. TML, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, it's all good. Let's hear what they have to say.
Peace and Jack, brothers and sisters.
I've been appreciating this guy recently, especially the character he plays on your show. I've been appreciating it.
Peace and Jack. I love you, Jack. How are we today, my friend?
I'm truly feeling blessed, man. Thank you for your patience, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm feeling blessed too, Jack. It's Taco Tuesday, Taco Talcott Tuesday. It's a great day.
It is.
You know, Jack, I had a there's a saying, Jack, that kind of relates to what you're talking about on your show today, Jack. It goes like, I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
That's beautiful. It is. But we got to become that product that brings forth the good environment. Otherwise, the environment around us does reflect us too in corrupted ways. But I was drifting off into ideas of the Holy Spirit, spending time with those good qualities of peace and comfort, patience. And then I realized what I was doing in that time is, with my devotion and worship and appreciation, that's self-love, baby. And self-love is important as long as we keep the focus in mind. I'm here for others, but I'm no good for others if I'm not healthy and strong and wise. We're all here to become healthy and strong and wise as we can. And there's others to help us too. That's what good friends are for, honestly, is to help us become stronger, wiser, healthier.
Hey, Jack, do you see my PFP by any chance? Do you see my little character?
I do.
See it's Zabalba.
I know. He's so cute.
As a little baby. He has a cute little baby face. He does.
He does.
He does. He has a little baby face.
Was not to talk about him. I want to talk to him. I was going to swing through earlier, but it didn't seem like the right time.
Yeah, I heard you were on his show and someone tried to denigrate you on there, Jack. Was that what I was told? Someone was arguing with you. Who was that, Jack? Was that Cage?
Cage?
Oh, yeah. I have to talk to Cage about that. We respect our Talcott when he comes on our channels. We have, I don't like when Cage does that. Like Cage, so the thing is Cage gets a little jealous when he's overshadowed by a larger personality like you, Jack, And I think he gets a little self-conscious. But it's okay. We can move past that, Jack. Everyone has their flaws. We move past it through love, Jack. We move past it through love.
Well, yeah. He's not a bad dude. He's like some of the other characters I seem to attract. A little rough around the edges, a little tough to put up with, but he's got a good heart. And I don't think he means any harm. At least not.
He's a lot like Red 40. Like Red 40 Red 40 puts walls around his heart because he's a big teddy bear behind it all. And if you get past the rough exterior, he doesn't want to because Red's the kind of person that loves deeply, and if he lets you in, you could really hurt him. So he puts those walls up, Jack. You know what I mean? To not that you have to scale and earn to try to get close to red.
You know what? I don't know him well enough, but that is a character trait that I know well. I was so afraid of letting people in my life because I figured they'd hurt me or I would hurt them. And I didn't want anyone to be hurt. So everyone was just safer if they were away from me and I was away from them. And then when people did make it into my circle, man, it was just deep love.
It is. We just need love, Jack. I mean, you think if I brought Red some maybe some flowers and we had lunch and we went out and enjoyed the day together, he might be a little happier,
I've seen Red, a good dude. I'm assuming it's a dude. I'm not even certain, to be honest, but yeah, there's a community here. There's a community of us, even if it is just the names that show up. We're all a part of this path, this part of history. And guys, I am getting more and more excited about the real possibilities of world reforms. Because what's happening can't continue the way that it's happening. It can't. We can't allow it.
Look at Red trying to change me back to my old ways, Jack. I'm not gonna fall for it, Jack. I'm not gonna fall for it. I'm gonna rise above Jack, and I'm going to spoon Red for love. That's what I'm gonna spoon him in. I'm gonna think about him and hold him and caress him, and just in love and appreciation for Red.
Yeah. That is the best way. And actually, that is something too. For those who are set and you're trying to change, the universe is going to test you. You try to become better than you used to be, and old crap will come out of the woodwork to test you and say, are you sure? You sure you're done with that? At least that's the way it was with me, and that's what I've heard from a lot of others. I don't know what the straight up question is. But we are here to change. It's part of the game of life. The God that created us, guys, we have not understood. We haven't understood a lot of things. The purpose of life, especially. The world is collectively living life, I won't say wrong, but how about unhealthy? The world is unhealthy, and we don't have
toxic, Jack. We're living a toxic existence, Jack. It's toxic like Mariah's farts.
Please. Humans do smell sometimes, don't they? They friggin' all people. We're
so Jack,
animals.
speaking of that, we are, but Jack, okay, so this is something from someone who goes to gyms. I'll say this though. Jack, Asians, if you go and work out at a gym, they smell like vinegar because of the garlic that they eat a lot. So they all smell like vinegar. They smell like this sour. It's bad, Jack. Like it's bad in the locker room with Asians, Jack. That's the only. So I just wanted to put that in. It's the garlic, Jack. The garlic.
I've had my experience like that when I was in Korea. Yes, I'm familiar with different smells of different peoples.
But Jack, do you know that African Americans say that we whites smell like wet dog? It's interesting. I didn't know that. But
I could see that.
So we smell like Fritos, because dogs like dirty, like wet dogs. They smell like Frito chips, Frito Lay. You know those the corn chips. They smell like corn chips, Jack. So okay. I guess we smell like corn chips. That's pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyway, smells. Yeah, that's a part of this crazy life too. Hey, this concept, totally different direction of thought. The patterns of time, and if the idea of get out of you to let more of God in. And so the only time we can do anything is in the present moment, right? And so this is where I was thinking, break and escape the patterns of time by pausing, going to the stillness. Does that make sense?
I like stillness, Jack.
Yeah, I think it's either chapter 27 of the Tao Te Ching. I think it says stillness is a master of movement, right? And then I think Aristotle said that God is the prime mover. So relative to the movement, he would have to be still the unmoved mover, he calls it. So it's
the uncaused cause, the uncaused cause, the unmoved mover.
Exactly, right? Because this whole idea of contingency and cause, right? See, Aristotle really imploded the idea of causality by saying there's 4 different types of causality. So, so he was an interesting thinker.
There's direct causes. There's all Jack. Poor Aristotle. He was put on trial, Jack. Poor Jack. He was put on trial.
Who was?
Aristotle.
No, I believe that was Socrates. Yeah.
Or Socrates. Sorry, yeah. Plato was. Okay, sorry, I forgot, Jack. Aristotle was Plato's.
Yeah, Plato was like the rich guy, and then and then Socrates. Socrates was like poor. He got sent to jail, and then
Socrates was about the logic. He was just asking why, and asking why is bad.
Yeah, Aristotle fled his trial, and he then went to go work for Philip of Macedon to tutor Alexander the Great.
But I'm saying he was put on trial for it, though. He wasn't killed like Socrates was.
Well, he fled. Socrates had a chance to flee.
No. But I'm saying they both had trials, is what I mean. Like, it's all this. They put him on trial, man. You can't think independently.
Here, sorry to interrupt, but this is exactly in line with this earlier observation I had. The fools become wise, and the wise are shown as fools. We've had a society that's had an unhealthy relationship with knowledge for a long time. Putting people on trial.
Jack, the tree was called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Knowledge can be dangerous to those not equipped, Jack.
And that's what I believe. Hey, my theory is just what you said. Knowledge, it's dangerous to those who are not equipped. But my theory is that's how God controls this world and the universe, probably even the angels, is by what's going on inside of their awareness. What do they know? Because God's showing us what we need to know. I didn't realize it. It wasn't until hindsight that I made it through a bunch of crap in my life, a lot of stress and anger and pain. Once I made it through it, I looked back and I was like, holy shit, I had the tools. I knew what to do. I didn't have to suffer as much as I did. And then that's when I really started humbling myself to the value of knowledge, true answers, and I didn't want to overlook the truth if it could help me.
Jack, I'm always here for you, Jack. Always.
We're here. We are here for God. How do you serve God? You serve the world. And by serving the world, you serve God. By serving God, you serve yourself. Because God truly loves those who serve the world. It's how we're designed. But the legacy of some people. Sorry, what?
Jesus said the Son of Man has not come to rule, but to serve.
Yeah. And that includes all the animals and nature too. We're here to serve nature, not
Birds, the
steal
bees,
stuff.
the snails, the snails, the trails. You know what I mean, Jack? Like we got all the birds and the bees and the snails, the trails, and the puppy dog tails. You know what I mean, Jack? We got all these nice things in the world, Jack.
I know. So why does the collective society allow it so people make it so hard for people to live and learn? Why do we allow that?
Because everyone gets jealous. It's envy, Jack. Envy.
Ah, beautiful.
It's envy, Jack. Everything is. I mean, Jack. Like, look, communism is just the envious of the middle manager that they didn't get everything that they were promised in college, and so they want to tear down capitalism, Jack. Like these middle managers that were like, look, I was promised to have a nice house and the beach and they're like, but I'm working 40 hours a week for only 100,000. I was promised more. This isn't fair to me. And so they punish the lower class, Jack. They punish the lower class.
Well, it's a corrupted society where literally the poor are defending their oppression and they don't even see it. And this idea, Red 40, that case can be made. Satan rules this world. How would Satan rule? Through the greedy and the corrupted. Well, what are the greedy and corrupted if not a job for good people? So all it is just the good people need to unite to confront the greedy and corrupted. And then everything becomes all right. Then it's not Satan ruling the world with secrecy and lies, right? This money system, seriously, we've got a worldwide corrupted system that it only exists because mankind keeps fighting itself.
Jack, I got an idea to get people to stop using money. Instead of putting George Washington on the front, we put a penis on the front. People wouldn't want to be using that kind of bill. They'd be embarrassed to do it all day, Jack. Wouldn't you be kind of a little bit embarrassed to be carrying around like 100 like bills that have penises on the front?
Yeah, one of the things I've pointed to is this idea. I believe it was like in the 1930s, right, when Henry A. Wallace actually proposed to FDR to put the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. And Henry A. Wallace was actually a student of this guy named Nicholas Roerich, who was a theosophist. And he called him Dear Guru in one of his letters, and he got ousted from the presidential race. Right, he was running with Barbara Marx Hubbard, who started the Progressivist Party, right? And they wanted to create a sort of techno utopia, right, and so on and so forth. So it's
and that's what they're trying to do now, Jack. They're trying to plug us into the matrix and create these sanitized utopias where we have no freedom of speech, no freedom of choice, no freedom to love, Jack. It's bullshit, I tell you. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being socially engineered. Ah!
That's why it's time to go to God. You brought up Henry Wallace. When I went to Veterans for Peace, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he vice president and he was going to run for president, and the
exactly.
DNC totally sold him out?
Yes. Is that right? Yes. Yeah. And that was one of the the hate campaigns was his mentioning of Nicholas Roerich as Dear Guru, right? So it's interesting because this guy was an interesting sort of Russian.
Wait, are we talking about the guru on the internet here?
Wait, who on the internet? Did you say, Pierce? I think he cut out.
Well, Guru, like we know a Guru on.
No, this is somebody else. Somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey, Imperius, your audio is really
I'm at the doctor's office, Jack. I'm gonna head out though, but I'll be back, Jack. I love you. I just want to say, Emily, I'm going to the doctor's to make sure everything works down there for our babies. Okay. Talk to you later, Jack. I love you.
Thank you for swinging through. Holy cows! Much love to him. Okay, This philosopher that you mentioned, I'm not as familiar with that. What I had learned of Henry Wallace was he was a real pacifist, and he was about equality and civil rights. I mean, he was about equality and peace. That's what I understood him to be.
Yeah, there's interesting ideas. And Barbara Marx Hubbard, right? Because she was, what we class a futurist, right? Who expounds the ideas of Teilhard de Chardin, right? So she thought that we would, eventually reach the singularity, which is a time where, machines outpace humans, and some people think that this will lead to an era of, sort of peace and, so actually, there's a number of techno elites, right? This is actually in recent news, right? They've declared that we've already reached the singularity, right? So there's a new pattern emerging where they're skipping the major, thing, which is the, I think it's the invention of artificial general intelligence, that they're waiting for. Yeah, blessings.
Along those lines, did you hear our friend Crazy Guru Carl? He pointed the perspectives of this evolution of a new consciousness that is in competition with the humanity, and it's right in line with what you're
Yeah, that is
saying
interesting.
too,
That is
right?
interesting because what Teilhard de Chardin did that was so interesting. He was a Jesuit priest, I believe, and he combined sort of Catholicism with this idea of evolution. So yes, he did think that there was a quote unquote spiritual evolution. He was one of the founders of this conception. So yeah, definitely in line with that.
Well, it seems we are coming to this, that those predictions are, I'm not sure how perfectly accurate, but they certainly sound pretty solid, because I don't follow technology close because that's not my expertise. I don't really understand it, but it seems that what's happening right now, there are many signs that it is time for mankind to reform our politics and economics, because these corporations being left on their own, or the governments being left on their own to develop an intelligence that's greater than humanity, it's not wise.
I think there should be a precautionary principle in ethics, right, when developing, new technologies where, they have an effect on the general public. The public should have a say over which technologies we, use, and accept on a massive scale, that so that we can integrate them on a local and societal level, into our own communities, and have them be an integral part of our communities instead of an apparatus for the corporation or state or something like that. Definitely, it's time to reevaluate that process.
Well, oversight, public oversight, community involvement. We have so many opportunities right now. I mean, through our corporate and government structures, we've got the technological advancements, we've got worldwide logistics and communication. If we stop funding this war industry to keep destroying infrastructure and creating more reasons for people to migrate, dude, we could transform this world into something amazing. And I actually do believe, I really do believe that this is what God is doing, that God is leading us as humanity towards becoming the solutions and realizing we are not powerless. We've got everything to gain by making some changes.
Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, just kind of continuing those thoughts, it's open source, creating this platform, availability of open source knowledge. I know we can find ways to do these things responsibly. And if the purpose of sharing the knowledge is to create a better society where we serve each other and nature instead of trying to own and control each other and nature, it's just a shift in the minds.
Yeah, this kind of goes back to this idea of the New Atlantis by Francis Bacon, right? Where he said that we could take a group of philosophers, scientists, right? And he said that they would, live on the American continent and sort of, create submarines and airplanes, right? He predicted these inventions, right? Even in the 1600s, right? That there would be such things as submarines and airplanes, and that these devices would allow these people to control trade, and have power worldwide. So he predicted that there would be a sort of world government, right? That's going to, become, part of the world. And, indeed, it is noticeable that, when the AI computer escaped from the lab, right, it did so with this guy, Sam Altman, right, who's running the program. And he actually, originally designed his platform to be an open source platform, right? It was called Open AI, right? So it's kind of interesting how, sort of as we develop more power, as we get more support, our worst instincts, sort of rise to the top, and then we become exploited by the system, and we need to bow down to sort of the rule of experts and have the close it off to the public and all that. And we can't have this sort of, as you said, open technology, right? And of course, I'm a huge proponent of something like that. I would like to see something like that.
I'm confident it is the direction that the world is going. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's biblical too, in that all that was hidden shall not remain hidden. Right? It's going to come out. We've had generations of corruption here in America. It's not the only place. It didn't just start in America, but America, hey, we're known for our ingenuity, right? Created this international banking scheme even greater than it used to be. All the corporate entities, all the loopholes, all the tax havens, all the corruption, man. We've got human beings making good livings, getting paid damn good money for doing nothing more than investing money. What the fuck is that? That's not value, right? Money. The gift that I've learned and that I think the world is going to eventually recognize, the true gift of life, it's the knowledge. Knowing of who we are and knowing of where we are, it's critically important for our survival, because without knowing our environment, we don't know how to build a fire, to harvest foods, to take care of ourselves. It's knowledge that allows mankind to thrive. And that's why there's so many of us, so we can learn from each other. We don't have time individually to learn everything, but we can learn a lot. I mean, I'm feeling blessed. Please.
Oh, I have a fun picture for you guys. That I think relates to tomorrow's. Yesterday's show, right? So, I couldn't possibly relate to tomorrow's show since I'm not a mind reader. But yeah, yesterday we had a guest. And here is, I guess it's Aluma Tommy as Dr. Robotnik, right? So this was made a long time ago by our friend, I think Brown's boy, right? So he made this, I think, to troll or something like that. But yeah, pretty funny stuff. I think there is a striking resemblance, and I think the character itself, because I found out, recently, I say that to say this, right? That I found out recently that, that hedgehogs, right? Because this character is from Sonic the Hedgehog, right? That they actually live solitary lives. Right. And I was actually quite shocked by this, that there are animals that don't have families, right? That they simply just are nursed by their mother and then they go off on their own and just do their own thing, right? So this idea of the hedgehog, that the human is caught in between this idea of Aristotle that, he's a political animal in one sense, right? And a social animal, but in another sense, he's able to live on his own and not be nurtured by, anyone, right? So, he's a solitary man in a sense, right? But of course, our truest nature comes out when we're in relation to others, right? Because we need to be taken care of when we're young by our mother, and our education, and tutelage requires a certain socialization.
Yes. We learn more who we are, our true nature, through the socialization and the interactions with others. And this is what this comment too, realize your true nature to awaken from this dream. Well, the dream is that I'm separate from you, right? That you're not me, that you're totally different than me, and I don't understand you. Well, that's a dream, right? Because the reality is you are me. You're just on a different path than me, but we are this time together. And we are all one.
Yeah, and that's why I love the line in the opening of the Tao where it says that, ever desiring, right, one can perceive the mother of 10,000 things, right? But ever desireless, right, one can perceive the subtlety, right? And the subtlety is right in the thick of things, right? The mother, right, she nurtures, right, and then and then lets go, right, the child, right? So this idea of the mother being a process, that names things, raises them and then lets them go. That this process is nature, right? And we don't have to fight this process, right? It's part of our, everyday existence where we exist with the mother, right, of 10,000 things, and we exist with the subtlety of the profound mystery.
It's that paradox. But in the subtlety, that's where I find the grace. It's in the grace I can find the subtlety, perhaps. Sean of Source, how you been, brother? Good to see you.
Good, man. Good. Here, let me hold on a second here. Yeah, no, I was noticing that you bringing up the TMO was bringing up the picture of the character that was played by Jim Carrey.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's quite
I've been.
a bit of similarity there, right, between Jim Carrey and Illumitami, right? The faces, and sort of the speed of the characters, and it's interesting. He's kind of like the Mask in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I don't want to derail the conversation, right? I just I've been looking into this. I've been finding these weird connections because I was looking into the movie The Number 23 with Jim Carrey came out 19 years ago. And there was this whole thing recently with Jimmy Fallon and then bringing up numerology in the 19 in regards to the World Cup and like Leo Messi and the connections between him and like Lamine Yamal or whatever. And then there was this post by James Franco about the 2319. He was pointing to the number 2319. It said James Franco 2319. And what's crazy, I thought about it. I'm like, wait, they're all James. James Carrey, James Fallon, James Franco. They all have the 5 and then 6 letter name, the 56, like, the Society of Jesus equals 56, but I'm not going to get into numerology. It's too much, and gematria. But yeah, I just thought that was super weird. There's something going on there with the 19 thing and the number 23, and then this numerology going.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever looked up Rashad Khalifa, right? He wrote a book called The Computer Speaks, and he decoded that the Quran actually has the number 19 all throughout it.
Oh, I must have cut out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear me, but I think.
Oh, okay, I'm back. My bad.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me, but I was talking about how Rashad Khalifa talked about this number 19 in the Quran, and how the whole book was organized by this number 19. Since you had mentioned,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you, but I'm not sure if you can hear us. So I think
Yeah. I think I cut out for a second, so I might have missed something. So, or I don't know where I cut out, but anyway, my phone kind of tripped on me for a second there.
it's
But
all
yeah,
good. I'm not going to repeat myself 3 times, but yeah, blessings.
No, yeah, I think I heard what you said. Most of it.
Holy cows. Sean, I love you, my friend. You
Oh,
are
I love you too, man. That's
such
just a third. That's a third account that I barely use, but yeah, that's just a backup
what?
account. But
Would you please? Someone asked where your link, who you were. When I
I'll drop
looked
a
up
comment. Sure.
Danielle Power, I couldn't find it. That's the only thing I found. So,
Oh yeah, it's this funny thing, right? They do where when you type in Pineal Power Podcast, it recommends you do it with spaces, which of course does not show you my channel. And I've
Yeah, a
had
lot of
people tell
people.
me,
I just want to clarify something. Right, a lot of people think like, if you talk, at the same time you share the stage with me, that it's like some type of derailing. I'm just here to chill. So I'm not here to present any special information to you guys. I'm not here to be your teacher or your guru, right? So don't get your panties in a bunch, right? Just relax and listen. If you don't like the show, I'm sure there's other material you can engage in, but I think we offer something special. But yeah, blessings to you guys.
yeah, I agree with what you just said.
yeah. Um, it did kind of derail it a little bit, though, because we were talking about technology,
Yeah, I still got it. This is
cooperation.
yeah, it's no worries. I'm a professional, so we can handle, a little bit of I was simply talking about this idea of the subtleties, right, and the mystery, right, and how that involves being right in the thick of the thing, whereas the mother, the Tao Te Ching involves naming and raising and letting go. So all these divisions that we find in nature, right, that are based on names, right, whereas being sort of nameless, right, is sort of the beginning of heaven and earth, right? It says the nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. Yet we all come from a place, right? So so it's interesting. So it kind of points to that idea that I was talking about being a solitary animal but a social animal, right? So, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and you were talking about the singularity in regards to Barbara Marx Hubbard, but
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for listening. Yeah, blessings.
I think in the modern day, most people attribute the singularity with with Ray Kurzweil. But you're saying that the first mainstream kind of mentioning or what's the word, zeitgeist, kind of like use of the word, so to speak, it coming into the zeitgeist was with her. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of these ideas, right, they come from the occult, right? The occult had this concept of the eschaton, right, and then Teilhard de Chardin had the concept of the omega point, and then Ray Kurzweil has the concept of the singularity. But it's all something in the future that's coming into the past, right, and altering the past, right. So it's sort of pulling us into the future, right, by calling to us, right, something that already exists in the future, so on and so forth.
I've heard that presented as love. Love is in the future, calling us forward through life. And I think that's the truth. Love is the singularity. It's the unity. It's the oneness, the wholeness. It's the relationship with everything. And you said, I can't remember where you said we came from, but it's without definition or name. It's our mind that tries to define and name everything. And it's in our mind where we get trapped. We get trapped with old ideas and we forget the heart wants to move forward. That's what I had done. Jeff, you're gonna make a great partner one day. You are single. Make my singularity plurality.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing him for a little while, I find that very easy to believe that a guy like Pi is, single. Despite his sort of vibrant personality, he's, sometimes very, I think his anger is misplaced sometimes. It is what it is.
Okay.
Doma, you're trying hard to not include the fact that he's incredibly charming and good looking, though. No homo, of course. Full bromo.
Well,
Yeah,
no, I was pointing to an entirely different range of experiences, social experiences, of how I've encountered him.
and that is fascinating because both are true. He is. He's very charming and a good-looking dude, but at the same time, he's got some emotions, and so for you to say that, it's an interesting observation, and you're not surprised he's single.
I mean, I'm not surprised I'm single, so don't take it personally, folks.
Right, right. No surprise for me either. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. This life, we are here to discover who we are. And if we don't listen, if we don't pause, and if we don't really think about things for ourselves, we'll focus on who we were or the identity that we picked up somewhere along the way. And I did that. My identity wasn't a bad guy. I mean, I faked a lot of my confidence. I faked a lot of my happiness, but I wasn't a bad dude. I just didn't know how much better I could feel. Guys, it's no joke, seriously. Surrendering to God. It's not a one-time thing. It's something you choose often until you realize that's the only choice. It really is the only choice, man. Surrender to God. Don't battle reality. Overcome it. The best way to overcome reality is don't buy into the divisions. Surrender the identities and don't battle identities. That's something I've been guilty of. Trying to help people change their minds, and I'm battling an identity they're clinging to. I don't know. We don't know. Jeff, 85% charm, 15% emotional outbursts under the influence. Apologies for the negative side that comes out here and there, but we're all just humaning. I agree with that. Does that sound fair, TML?
I mean, I think it's excuses. I mean, when you want to play a character on stage, and there's, and we're not playing pretend today. So that's kind of the feeling I have. But everybody's inclined to their opinion, and yeah, future interactions are available.
Beautiful. If anything, that's the very least we can allow each other. Sometimes we need distance. Sometimes we realize, hey, I don't need to spend time with you, but we can just give each other a chance, because every one of us does have off days sometimes.
Or just chill days, chillaxing.
Yeah.
It's okay to chillax sometimes.
I learned a lot from watching my cats.
I'm telling you what, man. Yeah.
They know how to chill the fuck out.
Well, you're talking about humans humaning. What is the hue of a man? What does the word human mean? I mean, it means monster. So, if I remember correctly, etymologically. So yeah, you know, the hue of a man, it's an aspect of man. It's it's
Color.
close to, but not quite the real divine source being, if you will.
Ooh.
To add some new age
We-
buzzwording to it.
Well, how about that? The hues of light. The hues being the different shades, different variations. And that's what we are. We are different shades of light coming through the different physical forms, but it's still the spark of light and life. With the creative force of this, guys, the conclusion I've made, and following logic and reasoning, the conclusion I've come to is that only God is real. What is real here, including you and I, is not nearly as real as God. It's only real to you and I. So the purposes of following the way that Jesus was saying about love and mercy and faith, it's for us to have a better life while we're here. That's all it is. Life is only real to us. Just like the religions are only real to the believers. The politics are real to those who believe in it. The pain is real to those who find it, who feel it. But guys, if we unite together sincerely, we have incredible opportunities in this lifetime. I'm all in too. Because my theory, please jump in.
Yeah, if you were if you were wrapping feel free to wrap that up, Jack. Blessings. I appreciate you.
No, I was going to take it a step further. Andy, thank you sincerely, my brother, for the contribution and the acknowledgement. It's all bullshit. Anything that's not true or loving, let it be bullshit, right? Because that is what it is. It's all isn't important. What's really important is how we treat each other. Thank you, Andy. And please, brother, jump in.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is that there's a sort of figure that's sort of mentioned in the Quran, right, called El Khidr, right, where he's seen as like a green dude that pops in and out of time, right? So he's a sort of immortal, so he could pop up at any second, and his ability is to sort of be the time police, right? So he could sort of alter events, right? So he could change fates, right? It's kind of like the fates of the nations are in his hands, right? It's kind of a representation of the forces of nature, right? So this idea of Hither, right, who is a green guy, right, and this idea of this night where all the fates are determined, right? It says that there's a night where all the fates are determined, right? There's a Sufi writer who said, treat every stranger you meet as if it's Al Khidr, and treat every night as if it's the night of power, right? Or the night where all the fates are determined, right? So treat everyone that you meet, as if they're deciding the fates of the nations, right? Treat every night as if it decides every night of your life, for the future, right? And this is how we can really, get the, put the pedal to the metal.
These old philosophers, many of them had it absolutely right, and they were saying it in different ways. The wisdom has been there for us. This is our lifetime. Treat everyone well, right? Treat everyone like they matter so that you get treated like you matter. And then treat each night as though your future depends on it. There's so many practices I learned along the way to help reframe the mind, just morning practices, daily practices, reviewing yourself and your experience to see where am I growing, where can I grow. But it comes down to seize the day, man. The day has been given to us, so live boldly, live righteously, live with honor and authentically. How can you be wrong if you do that?
I don't know if anybody else has felt this way, but I felt a powerful connection to the day Tuesday. It's a really strange thing, right? It's kind of like the second day of the week, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, right? But yeah, Talcott Tuesday. I think that's been the number one most call-in show. So I think usually if you land on a Tuesday episode, I may be there, but yeah, Talcott Tuesday, right? That's when we started sort of, I feel compelled to call in on Tuesday. I don't know why it's such a renewing day for me. I'm not sure if that's it's kind of like Jungian, right? A bit of synchro mysticism, right? If people are familiar with the concept, right? Synchro mysticism is finding spiritual sort of connections in everyday events, right?
I think that's what Sean does. He watches for connections everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the just paying attention to what's going on out there. The hard part is balancing it with not allowing it to get to consume your time and energy to too much.
Mm-hmm. This is where I don't remember where I heard it, but learning knowledge is one thing, but the choice of what to do with that knowledge really is a moral question. Which knowledge deserves your time, your energy? I heard this described. Oh, actually, I think it was the guest I've got coming tomorrow. I think he was the one saying it. That which you focus on expands. That which expands is your creation. So you want to pay attention to what you're focusing on.
Yeah, that's actually a Jungian thought too. Because I believe you were trying to relate it, right? It's this idea of it's slipping my mind right now, but it's kind of like what you resist persists. I think that is it, right? What you resist persists, right? So if you try to give attention to those things you hate, and it's kind of a lesson for this live stream, right? If you pay attention to those things you hate, you're gonna bring that into your life. That is a lesson on Talcott for sure.
Dude, that is the truth. We've got to be aware of our awareness. What are we focusing and giving our attention to? And this, I'm sure you know this one, TML. Kindness in words creates confidence. Kindness in thinking creates profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. Sound right?
Yeah, blessings.
Yeah, that's why the resistance is kind of a, the resistance. It's kind of, a lie. I mean, it's kind of a false modality of achieving what, I think the objective is there.
Yeah, it's a luxury, right, that the system grants the public in a lot of senses, right? They give them the luxury of rebellion, right? A false sense of rebellion, right? So it's okay to be a rebel without a cause, this sort of thing. So,
it's through our awareness that we develop a relationship with the you, the I, who I am. It's through my awareness that I have a relationship with each of you. And if I focus in on the problems, then my relationship becomes a problem and not the experience. And this is what we've been conditioned to do. And it's actually not just conditioning. I mean, there's so many variables involved in this, but this is just brilliantly God's design for us. The path to enlightenment for all of us. It's simply an unlearning of who you thought you were, so that you can have this rebirth, the renewal, the new beginning. And that rebirth, renewal, new beginning, it can happen every single day. It can happen in the middle of the day. It can happen in the middle of an argument. You can start again. But that self-control, right? That choice to slow yourself down so that you're not in a reactive state. Slow yourself down so that your mind is clear on the bigger picture. What is the objective? What are you trying to communicate? These, as I'm saying this is lessons I've been learning the hard way, right? I got to slow myself down and just get clarity. What am I doing? What are we doing? Because everyone is one. We are one part of humanity here on earth at this time. And I am truly grateful to have discovered this dysfunctional, wild, fascinating community, right? To study human behavior, there couldn't be a more ideal opportunity than something like this, right?
Bizarre is a good word for it, yeah. Fascinating is another good one for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the two words that William Gibson used to describe cyberspace was consensual hallucination. So
consensual hallucination. I think
was that Terrence McKenna or no, he would have been pre I guess he would have been too early.
That's Gibson, who wrote Neuromancer, Mona Lisa Overdrive and other works.
Mona Lisa Overdrive. I never heard of that. And that's why I tune into you, man. I'm always learning something every time I tune in. So,
yeah, there's sort of foundational works in what they call cyberpunk literature. So cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's a whole niche that definitely I would say Philip K. Dick had a big part in, with Blade Runner and such in pushing forward, promoting and popularizing, if you will. Not promoting as much, but who was just such an interesting character to look into. And I really wonder if he was a part of some group or, if he was entirely human or what was going on there. But I had one guy come up with, so much, and the same could be said for so many people. You were talking about Carl Jung. I don't know if you've seen this video that's been going pretty, growing some traction, that got put out like a week or two ago. I don't think I finished watching it, but Carl Jung, double agent, something like that. I forget the name of the channel.
I've mentioned that. I've mentioned that tons of times. Actually, he worked for Alan Dulles. I think it was Agent 488. Right. And I think his handler was, a lady named Maria Bancroft. Right. So he was a member of the OSS. Right. So at what capacity he served. Right. We're not, obviously, it's interesting who was a part of this stuff. And, if you look at, Gregory Bateson, right, and the whole MK Ultra, foundation, I mean, these guys were very artistic in their goals and aspirations. They wanted to combine postmodernism and cyber culture and all this stuff.
It actually makes sense in many ways. The way the Illuminati would grow, recruiting the more intelligent, more influential. For Carl Jung, a well-known, brilliant mind, to be brought in for government use. I mean, I can understand. And this is what I think is happening. The military and our government agencies, they do this openly. They recruit some of our brightest, most talented youth, and they lead them into this path where patriotism and nationalism, right? They're doing this with the billionaire boys, having them swear in to the National Guard so that what they're doing is protected by the government. You know, it's like, what the fuck is going on, guys?
Yeah, and even Freud, right? Because Freud, right? Some people might say that Freud is more scientific than Jung, but Freud is actually, considered pseudoscience by modern psychologists, right? But most of the stuff that he wrote, had an influence on Edward Bernays, right, his nephew, and then that was weaponized to create propaganda and so on. So it's like all the psychologists and the thinkers that, Freud was actually against the system, right? He wrote Civilization and Its Discontents, and he said that, the state and the government had like weaponized, right, psychology, so they'd weaponize guilt and sin and all these things, and used it to capitalize on the aggressions of the herd mentality and so on and so forth. So he was yet and still his work was weaponized, as we know.
And of course, you definitely shouldn't bring up Bernays without mentioning, at least in this day and age, that his grandson was the founder of Netflix. So, it lives on, and
right, Mark Bernays, yeah, exactly.
Dude,
so you could see someone's dead, and think of that as, okay, well, their work may have passed on, but no, I mean, he's living relative, direct living descendant that's continuing on a massive scale, the most popular, arguably, streaming service, right? So I don't get why people pay for all these streaming services. I mean, you got like stuff like what's it called, Tubi, that's like free. I mean, how much stuff is free on YouTube? Of course, it has ads, so I get that. I don't know if Tubi has ads, but there's other platforms that are free, or it's like people have, say, they already have Amazon Prime, which is bad enough that you're giving money to Amazon, but it's understandable why people would have it, the convenience factor and all that. But if you already have Prime and then you're paying for other, you can. It's like, is there not enough streaming? Is there not enough videos and stuff to watch on Amazon Prime that you have to pay also for Netflix and also for whatever Hulu and also for YouTube Premium and also, like, give me a break, man. How much content do you really need to? Coming from someone who at times is definitely a content addict, how do you rationalize paying all these services? It's kind of mind blowing, man. Mind blowing.
No.
Unless you have it like that, then that's yeah. I mean, unless you have it like that, but if you're like struggling to get by and you have 4 streaming services, I mean, really, what are you doing with yourself, man? Yeah. Anyway,
right. The propaganda and conditioning has been very effective, and the tools of convenience and capturing our attention. It's started since we were kids. Before we were kids, the government and the authorities, the people of wealth and power, they've been studying human behavior for a long time, and human behavior has been understood for a long time, right? I mean, we do need to recognize that history continues on. The Nazis that were recruited from at the end of World War II, the family and the traditions, the knowledge was passed on. And in the path of development, someone mentioned it in a comment earlier. Maybe it was something you said, TML, but when the uninformed get a little bit of knowledge, it can become pretty dangerous, right? That Dunning-Kruger effect is true. People learn little bit, they're all confident, think they know it all. And the next thing you know, their ignorance and their trust has caused them to be fooled and to mislead others. That's what the entire political system is built on. It's built upon people's trust and stupidity. How fucking corrupted is that?
Yeah, who is it that said that the more I learn, the more I like realize I know nothing, essentially? I'm sure TML knows. Or maybe that just is a slightly different version of I know nothing, which is the
it can
famous
be
quote by-
attributed to many thinkers, right? Like, for example, Socrates and Lao Tzu both said it.
right,
So.
right. Yeah, it's just a different version of what they said, essentially.
It is the truth. I mean, I thought I was confident. I mean, I was confident that I understood the nature of America and I understood politics and economics, and I was confident I knew those things. Then I started learning some different things, and I realized, holy shit, I know nothing. So
yeah, it's like I don't want to think of myself as an idiot, but at the same time, I mean, compared to well, I'm not going to go there. Never mind. Let me not get ahead of myself.
perfect. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you. I agree, and this is the guests who've joined. This has been one of the best panels I've had in the past few, probably months. If only the whole world could tap into not being deceived by the dark magic cast upon all of us. If only the whole world could tap into alignment with the light of truth. Alignment with the light of truth, because in the truth, the answers are found, the answers that bring us comfort. It's not always easy to accept the answer, but there's an answer for us all.
Yeah. Yeah, Sophia is one of those people that, even though we're sort of worlds apart, right? It feels like I've known her for a very, very long time. Yeah, definitely. She's a very, sort of very comforting, personality. It makes you feel, like home.
Absolutely. It's that light of God, the warm nature, the nature of being a human who cares, who really cares. And that's what I see in Sophia. She does care, very much so. I do feel like we should start wrapping up, though. A couple hours in. Sean, I'm going to give you the first final words. It's great to see you, my friend.
You too, yeah.
Anything or promote anything?
I'm curious to. I might go live later. I'm not sure if I keep meaning to. It's like almost every day. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna do this, and then it's like one out of maybe, lately I've barely been streaming, so it's like, it's almost every day. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go live on this, and then something comes up, and I get distracted and end up consuming instead of creating and stuff like that, or just getting caught up in real life stuff. But I was curious to get your take on something. Have you ever watched the documentary? As far as I know, it was only a 2-part series, and I'm pretty sure it was done by a channel called E511 Ministries, and it's called The Spirit of the Age. And it's kind of from a, it's from a Christian, I guess you could say, worldview and religious worldview in a sense. But the what's presented in the documentary, I was going to upload it too. I've been meaning to upload it, but I was working on the thumbnail, and that was a week ago. But that just shows my responsibility factor. But yeah, the reason why I'm asking you is because TML's also up here, and I think it's an interesting dynamic between I think your worldview and his, as well as mine. But so again, I don't necessarily see eye to eye with the or maybe I just don't comprehend. Maybe it's because of my upbringing, being raised Jewish and stuff, that I don't know. But my dad was Catholic, so I think so. Yeah, did you look it up and find it, or no? Oh, I thought maybe you were looking it up. I'm curious to know if either you or TML watched it, because I'd like to get, maybe at a later time, your take on it. Maybe like if I upload it, but it's interesting, it gets into theosophy, Thelema, Blavatsky, Crowley, Manly P. Hall, the effects of a lot of these occult waymakers, if you will, on the current, for lack of a better term, New Age movement, as they'd call it, but some would argue that I'd probably, I wear crystal bracelets, I'm not against yoga and meditation and crystals. And so at the same time, I see how that can be murky. I'm grasping at straws here, trying to articulate what I'm getting at. But I think you get what I'm saying. It mixes to say that all New Age is inherently tied to demonism and invocation of spirits and opening portals for entities and
Yeah, I think oh yeah, I get what you're saying. What you need to look into is Ahriman, right? The writing by Rudolf Steiner, right?
Right.
So he writes against this idea, right? Of like Luciferianism and so on and so forth. So he's an occultist, right? Who's against like summoning demons through portals, right? So you can point to that, for example, and so on and so forth, right? So there's lots of different flavors, my friend, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Steiner, and Steiner was, if I'm not mistaken, a Rosicrucian, right? Or no?
He definitely studied that. Yeah.
But yeah, as a final words, I guess I'm asking the question as my final words. No, I don't really have much. I appreciate you, and yeah, I'll come back. I just wanted to I hadn't been up here in a while, so I wanted to chop it up for a minute. And yeah, it was, my apologies if I didn't really pertain to the topic, slowing down to regain trust. But I like the thought of slowing down in this modern age, and I definitely tend to do that. And I think that's why some people think of me as an old soul in many ways. But yeah, it's just that time seems to be speeding up in many ways, and I don't really get this whole thing that's viral now with ever since CERN shut down, time seems to have gone back to normal. I don't know. Time still seems to be going by pretty fast for me. A month goes by, it feels like a week or two. But anyway, yeah, slowing down to regain trust. I got to think on that one, and maybe go back to the beginning and watch the first like 5 to 10 minutes of what you were saying, because I kind of wasn't here until maybe a half hour in. So, but I appreciate you, man. TML, Jack, peace. And Pioneer
Much
Fire.
love,
Much love.
Sean. Great to see you, my brother. Sincerely. Thank you. You're jumping in and suggesting that was the right direction for him. I appreciate that. He's and I didn't find the documentary he was talking about, Spirit of Age, but anyway, my brother, thank you sincerely. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I have only a little bit of thing that I've read on my show already. I'll sort of maybe take my glasses off. Oh, whoops! I lost my page. Here, hold on. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
Hey, while he's getting that set up, just a little shout out and a recognition tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is noon Pacific, and elsewhere from there. Tomorrow I will be hosting a guest that I'm really excited to share. Yeah,
I was wondering about this show. Yeah, I was wondering about this one.
Yeah. I had the time scheduled wrong, but it should be at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Here, did you get yourself going?
Yes. I will.
Please.
I can turn this on, but I will have to take my glasses off so I can read this. So I apologize to you guys. But it says here. I read a lot of this on my show, but I'm going to maybe jump around. I think it pertains to the topic, slowing down. Right. This is by Henry David Thoreau. It's called Walden, right? And it's a famous work that he wrote. He says, men have become tools of their tools. The man who once independently plucked the fruits when he was hungry is now become a farmer. And he who stood under a tree for shelter, a housekeeper. We now no longer camp as for a night, but have settled down on earth and have forgotten heaven. We have built for this world a family mansion, and for the next a family tomb. And he goes on to say, our life is frittered away by detail. An honest man has hardly need to count more than his 10 fingers, or in extreme cases, he may add his 10 toes and lump the rest. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. I say, let your affairs be 2 or 3 and not 100 or 1,000. Instead of 1,000,000, count half a dozen, and keep your accounts on your thumbnail. In the midst of this chopping sea of civilized life, such are the clouds and storms and quicksands, 1,001 items to be allowed for, that a man has to live. If he would not founder and go on to the bottom and make his port at all, by dead reckoning, he must be a great calculator indeed who succeeds. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Instead of 3 meals a day, I think he says eat but one. Right, sort of lost my page again. I apologize to you guys. Oh, here it is. So he says, and I'll sort of skip a little bit. He says about our modern society, it lives too fast. Right? Men think that it is essential that the nation have commerce and export ice and talk through telegraph and ride 30 miles an hour without a doubt. Whether they do or not, but whether we should live like baboons or like men is a little uncertain. If we do not get out sleepers, the large wood timbers that support the railroad tracks, the forge nails, and devote days and nights to the work, but go on tinkering upon lives to improve them, who will build railroads? And if the railroads are not built, how shall we go to heaven in season? But if we stay at home and mind our business, who will want railroads? We do not ride on the railroad, he says, but it rides on us. So talk about living too fast, right? And talk about slowing down, right? But yeah, there's Henry David Thoreau protesting against the founding of the railroad system. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for talking with us.
Yes. Hey, brothers, sincerely. That man, machine lies. And if someone is open to dropping the link, for sure, I should have done that earlier. Profound wisdom, philosophies throughout time. The ideas of this society, it does create the profits from our rush. The entire economic system is first to market, first to do this, first to do that, right? Everyone's in a rush, and that's become normal. Well, it's normal for the beast of the world and the machine of the world, but is that what you are? Are you a beast here to work? You a beast here to obey? You part of a machine that's just, you're a cog in the wheel, right? You're just something on nothing. Well, we all play these different roles together, but what I believe is when humankind, when we unite together, uniting together the way we're intended to be, right? The way we're intended to be, it really is with peace and love. Peace and love are all about me, and the way of Jesus, the way of love is for me to trust in this Holy Spirit and the essence of truth that's eternally with me. And what I put in the description, a little reminder for the day, your relationship with God's love, it is yours to grow or ignore. You don't have to give God's love any attention at all. But I tell you what, if you're going to spend some time in your day, it's the best place to find rewards is going towards God's love. And God's love is found in the righteous. And all you got to do is be right with God, be right with the truth, and you can feel this love, baby. And once the love comes in, it can dissolve all your fears, all your worries. And the same thing, if you dissolve your fears or you set aside your fears and your worries, it creates space in you for love. But to break away from the hectic society and all the schedules of production and consumption, you can't run out of this. We got to go make more of that, right? Got to do what you got to do. Slow down, okay? Especially if you've been reactive, if you've been uptight, give yourself permission. It's okay. Slow down. Remind yourself it's all right. You're not done. You're not through, right? It might get tough once in a while, but the good times, baby, that's what you're here for. You are here to feel good. You really are, to be the love guru with you. I'm going to wrap it up sincerely. I do love all of you, and thank you to all the folks who joined today and who were supportive and encouraging, because that's what this life is about. My prayer just close it out with the thumbnail, man. As I follow the path of love, the path of truth that the Father reveals for me, I ask that the Spirit of love, the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of Jesus be with me, to comfort me, to walk with me, so that my calm mind, my clear eyes can see the signs, and I see the signs, baby. God is good. I'm going to wrap it up there. Sincerely, from me to all of you. I do have a set to forward over to our friend DNW Finding Gnosis. I believe they've got the opportunity for further conversations, and we'll wrap it up from here. Thank you again. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and walk with faith so you too can live without fear. God bless you. Peace.